Hello and welcome to another video. So the big news yesterday was the GDC State of Unreal announcement for the Unreal Editor for Fortnite, or Creative 2.0. Today I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes how to get set up, how to move assets around, how to set some lighting up, and most importantly how to import your own 3D scan using the Reality Capture application. Do check out some of my other videos where I will compare some other methods of 3D scanning, and you can see which one works best for you, and you can import from any of these. But today we're going to keep it all with Epic Games tools. So if you haven't already got an Epic account, I assume you do if you're playing Unreal, you should get that. Then you will get the Unreal Editor for Fortnite, and this will go into your Epic store once it's in your library and it's been purchased for free. And I'm going to start by launching Fortnite, and I'm going to launch the Unreal Editor for Fortnite as well. Now, it will give you a notice if your graphics card is not up to date, and you probably do need a PC with a fairly decent graphics card to run some of the things I'm going to show you. And here we are with some great documentation, a brilliant video from Matthew Wadstein, some documentation on the new programming language Verse, and link to the developer community. Now I'm going to start a new project and start off with one of these templates, or you could go to one of the feature examples here that they showcased yesterday. I think I'm just going to start off with something very simple. I'm going to go with the block. And here you have an option to start a team and invite people with Epic IDs. I'm just going to go ahead and not do that for now. And I will show you around this interface and how to get set up with this. First off, it's got this revision control which can push changes to your project as you're working. If anyone's used Perforce or anything like that, I assume it's built off the back of that. And I'm just going to go through some settings here. If you've not used this before, the middle mouse button pans around, the scroll wheel zooms in and out, the right mouse button orbits, and the left mouse button is for selecting objects. Now by default, the middle mouse button is reversed. So I'm going to go into Editor Preferences, Viewports, and ensure that this box is unchecked, invert middle mouse pan. Here under time of day, I can very quickly iterate between times of day, and this is a very simplified method of lighting your scene. If you want to make things look nicer and you have a high-end PC and it's advisable, you can change these settings to cinematic. We're going to stay with Epic. If your graphics card is struggling, you can change some of these to low, and you will as a result get poorer quality in your graphics. You can see here that this is aimed at lower quality consoles, and the Epic settings perhaps for high-end PCs and higher quality machines. So with that out of the way, I am going to just show you a few shortcuts. F to focus in on an object, or alternatively you can double click something here. This is our details panel. We don't have anything in our scene at the moment, and this is our world settings. What you can do here if you want an introduction to more advanced lighting is you can disable the default time of day, and you can import your own fog and your own directional light, much like the Unreal Engine itself, and customize more of the parameters of your lighting. Now to bring up assets that you can bring in, you click on this content drawer. The shortcut is Control and Space to pop this in and out. And here you will notice that you have a lot of very nice things to get started with already. We can go into environment, for example, and we can start to bring in some of these low poly rocks and hills, or we can go to buildings, modular buildings, and start to bring some of these pieces in. I'm going to press the F key again to focus in on this piece, for example, and I can show you how to move some of this stuff around. One thing you'll also notice is in Unreal, you don't have your snaps limited to power of 2. Here you do. What that means is if I turn on grid snapping, every time I move this, I'm moving it 1024 units. That's probably too high for this asset, so I'm going to press Ctrl Z to go back and change this to 256. And as you can see, now when I pull this arrow in these directions, either X, Y, or Z, I move by 256 units each time. Now here you have your move, your rotate, and your scale, W, E, and R respectively. And again, I'm going to take it off this grid snap here. It's set to 90 degrees. You can see that I can rotate things around, or I can scale objects by pulling the correct handle to scale them. And I can go in here and choose other modular pieces and very quickly start to snap them together if I have my grid snap on. So by pressing W here, I can start bringing some of these pieces together. I am just going to delete this one by highlighting it and pressing the delete key. And I can go in here, and if I want to make a duplicate, I can press Alt and pull the arrow at the same time to make a copy of this. Very, very easy to get started. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail. I will very quickly show you how you can switch between perspectives here. If you go into your top mode again, I'm just going to click on details here and double click this to focus on it. And you will see you have another viewport here for being able to line up your items. It might be a little bit easier to do this. I can also switch to the left viewport or the front viewport, and I can also change how these are displayed by going into lit, unlit, and so on. Now I am just going to switch back to perspective here, and I am going to go into that content browser again and show you some other things very quickly. So gun, for example, if I go in here, I'm instantly seeing lots and lots of guns. And if I click here very quickly, I can see by pulling this panel down that there is other elements inside this that can be moved around, like the point light and so forth. What we are going to do is very, very quickly show you some of these different modes. The modeling mode is very, very useful for building your own geometry. I'm going to click on stairs here, for example. I want 24 steps. I want a width of 150, step height 20, that's all okay. When I'm happy with that, I'm just going to click there and I'm going to go accept, and I have a set of stairs. Now, how about making the material for this? Let's go in here and see if there is anything. I'm going to get rid of the gun in here, and I can do a filter here by types of object. I'm going to go into this brick. You don't see that many brick stairs, and drag that in there. And even though the UVs are not correctly aligned, I have just dragged the material straight onto my object. Shiny one, I just grab that, drag that in there, and there I have a shiny black material. So when I'm done with this modeling mode, make sure you go back into selection mode to be able to enable you to select objects again. Now let's talk about Reality Scan. If you haven't seen it before, Reality Scan is an application for the iPhone, and here is where you can get it. So the first thing I'm going to look at in Reality Capture here is to make sure I've got the quality on detailed, and also there is an option not to store machine learning data. Other than that, it's a pretty simple application to use. I'm going to scan this old chair. Once it's found a server, for this you'll need Wi-Fi or 5G. It's probably advisable to have Wi-Fi. And then it says you need to take at least 20 images to generate a model. Now, once that server link has been established, I can step around this object. I usually take one step at a time and just snap away with the phone, trying to get enough overlap on the images. The distance was probably a bit too short in this one. I ended up with about 80 images, but you can take 30 to 60 in one pass, and you can tilt your camera the next time if you want. What Reality Scan will start doing is uploading these images onto the server and aligning a basic point cloud once you have enough images. Once we have this, it shows us that the images are aligning. The position of the images is also stored, and you can use this to realign yourself if you stop taking images in the middle or you take a break. Now it's best to just keep the image in frame as much as possible, get as much coverage as possible, and really to try not to move too much and be still and just let the camera do its thing. They do say more images gives better results, but I certainly wouldn't take hundreds of something like this just in one circle. Once I've finished it and I've been 360 degrees around it, I can wait for the images to align and for the full point cloud to appear, and then I can crop this and also adjust this box in 3 dimensions of where I would like to trim the final scan. Once all the images have been fully aligned, I can click this Export to SketchFab button, and I will wait for this to appear in SketchFab. So in my case, it was about 2:13 when I submitted these, and about an hour and 1 minute later, my model is on SketchFab. Now by default, it's not published to the public, but you will have to publish in order to be able to download it. I'm just going to go straight ahead and download the 3D model. I'm going to go for the FBX format, click download there, and unzip this, ready for import into Unreal. Now I've found that Blender definitely works better for this next step for trimming some of the geometry out of your model. I will show this in more detail in other videos, but here you can see it in action. So in Blender, I go to File, Import, and choose my FBX file that I downloaded from SketchFab. Wait a while, and once that's imported, I can trim away the geometry I don't need. I can do this by hitting my little tilde key and pressing 7 and going to the front viewport. And then I'm going to press Tab to go into edit mode and hit these buttons in the top right hand corner to go into wireframe and X-ray. I'm going to make a box selection by dragging with my left mouse button, pressing X to delete, and deleting the verts that I don't need. I'll delete this again and again until I can trim away what I don't need. You can use any application for this, and you can see my other videos in more detail on how to do this in Blender. Now once I've got all the verts out of the way, you can see some of the errors in this model. The leg is floating in midair. This can be fixed, or you can take more care to scan the underside of your object or use another scanning method. But that's going to do for now. I'm then going to move this down to the middle of the viewport and ensure that the size is correct. And then I'm going to top viewport and rotate again. And just check that it's completely flat and it will sit in our scene properly. When all this is done, I can press Ctrl A and set the origin. And then I can export as an FBX file. Make sure to click selected objects and also under geometry to click face. This is now ready to go into Unreal Engine. Once this is done, I am ready to import my model, and by default the import is grayed out. So what I could do is go to my own project folder and get rid of this search box, go into meshes, and you will see that the mesh I created in the modeling mode earlier is there, but I can go in here and I can simply right click, import. There is an option to use the wonderful fab, by the way, here. So if I just quickly show you this first, you will see that you have some great assets ready to go straight in here. Some of the stuff that you may recognize from the Unreal Marketplace if you've used Unreal, and some really nice mega scan stuff that's already optimized and ready for Fortnite. So I will show you just how to bring one of these in if you want to do that. I'm just going to go add to content browser, and it fetches it from Quixel. I can go into referenced content and literally just drag that in there. Let's press F to focus in on that. That's a great asset that's just completely free, ready to use. So let's bring ours in again. Just getting a little sidetracked there. I'm just going to go back into my folder again, meshes, import, and I am going to bring in the FBX that I've trimmed in Blender. Now you'll see that it's made a material for me as well, and I will quickly show you how this works. So there's my chair. I might scale this up a little bit here. I'm just going to make sure this padlock is on, and I'm going to scale this using the units rather than the scale tool that I showed you earlier. So I'm just going to type 1.2 there. And a quick shortcut for you, if your model doesn't snap to the ground, you can press the End key on your keyboard to snap to the ground. Now that doesn't look too bad. If you do look closely, you will obviously see flaws in the geometry. It's a free application, and as I said, if you watch my other videos, you will see other applications where you can feed in images from a camera for better quality results. I'm quite happy with this. The only problem is it's lost its color a little bit, so I'm just going to double click the material here and show you how you can make some quick changes to your material. So if, say, I wanted a pink chair, I can press the free key and click the left mouse button, and this will give me a color. I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to choose this purple setting here. Now what I'm going to do is multiply this color by the texture color. So I'm going to press the right mouse button this time and type in the multiply, and I'm going to press Alt to break this wire here, and I'm going to connect this to the multiply and connect this RGB to there, and I'm going to plug this into base color like that. So I've multiplied by this pink texture. The next thing I'm going to do is to give it a ridiculous specular, which basically determines how shiny it is. So I'm going to press the 1 key and left click. This will give me a single value, and in this I'm going to type 1, and you'll see a little material preview here. I'm going to save this, and we should see our asset update in real time. There you go. I've got a horrendous purple chair ready to go. Let's press play and give this a go. Launch session. Save selected. And finally there's my chair. If you're getting any strange crashes, update your graphics card. You will need the latest one by the looks of it. Thank you for watching the video. Check out some of the other videos on my channel for how to use a camera and the desktop version of Reality Capture to get better control over your scans and get better quality scans. And look there for some more Unreal Engine tutorials and more of this coming up soon. Like and subscribe. Thank you.